Andy out here at the Avon Park Aero Modelers Club. Big shout out to Hobbywing for sending me out the Avanti S 70mm. I'm going to be flying her with a Sokokin 4000 with a, I think it's got an 80C discharge, shoved back as far as I can get it. I've got the Limit RX Gen 2 up inside there. So I've got no kind of gyro or stabilization or anything like that, just good strong signal. And she's very windy today. So this is going to be a real test of my piloting skills. Mating a jet in wind, 15 mile-an-hour wind or better. So let's see, right, left, up, down, right, left. My rates I'm going to fly in today are 80% throws over 20% expo on the aileron. I think I have the same on the elevator. On the rudder I have 100% with 20% expo. I've been liking 20% expo on jets, so I'll either go with 15 or 20, but 20 is what I've been picking lately. Right, left, up, down, right, left. Motor is on. Okay, I'm gonna pause for just a moment. All right, folks, sorry about that. I realized I didn't have any of my audio prompts set up, so I wanted to do that real quick so I could hear what's going on instead of having to look at my transmitter. Right, left, up, down, right, left. Motor's on.
Prop secured. Motor on.
Motor on. Let's get turned around here. Wind is basically out of the east. The way the wind is, the way the plane is pointed. Let's get her turned around. Like I say, this is the first time I have ever flown this plane, and I've got no self-level, no gyro, nothing. I'm going to be trusting in my skills and the Avanti airframe design. All right, here we go.
Gear up.
She doesn't need any trim. Doesn't feel to.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Now she's definitely getting rocked it around though.
Gear down. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
Oh boy, is it windy.
Takeoff flaps. Flaps up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put her down. It's just too windy. She's locked in pretty good, but it's just so windy. Woo! I'm definitely going to call that a successful maiden, but until this wind dies down some, that's about all I could do. The wind just flipped her around. Honey, if you would, go over here to your left and look at them flags. Look how the flags are, what I'm trying to fly in here. Okay, back to the plane. I mean, she handled the wind okay, but man, what a handful in this wind. And it's just too nice of a plane. Well, any plane, I mean, you spend money on it, but
Prop secured.
I don't want to wait till this wind calms down a little bit. There's one thing of pushing your boundaries of what you know you can handle versus being stupid. And I'm afraid that if I was to take her up again, that's going to be borderline on stupid or irresponsible. So I don't want to run the, because there's one point where she was out that way that the wind is pushing her. I'm having a hard time getting her turned back towards the wind, and if I lose control, she could toss and go in to hit somebody, and I'd feel terrible and I'd be responsible. So just a little too windy to continue on with this maiden for right now. So we'll try again maybe later or another time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shout out to Hobby Zone for sending this out. Just hope I get to fly her more. Bye, y'all. Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Now I've already did a very short one takeoff and landing with the Avanti S 70mm from FMS, and I said if the wind died we would continue on with that flight, so that's what we're doing. We're just going to put those two videos together, and got a fresh battery in here. We're going to take off. The wind has died significantly, so we're going to try this again. Once again, this plane does not have any kind of gyro, wind mitigation, or anything like that. My rates are, hold on, sorry. Rates are 80% over 20% expo, and the rudder is 100% over 20% expo. Right, left, up, down. Motor's on. We'll get turned around, take off into the wind. Wind is still out of the east-northeast. So, I do like the lights on this plane. You have one on the belly, and then one on each wingtip. And they're not flashing, which I like that. All right, timer set for 3.5 minutes. Here we go.
Gear up. Time remaining 3 minutes. Gear down. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
I tell you what, I have to trust in that Avanti design, and I do. Definitely a good flying bird. Here we go again.
Gear up. Landing flaps. Gear down. Time remaining 2 minutes.
She does fly, and well, of course the Marlin, you know, they're the same plane basically. All right.
Flaps up.
A little bit bigger than Marlin. This is the 70mm 6S. The Marlin is a 64mm and runs on a 4S. All right, here we go again.
Gear up. Gear down. Landing flaps.
I'll tell you what, for no gyro and no kind of stabilization, she sure feels locked in.
1 minute.
She does. She feels very locked in.
Flaps up.
All right, we're going to do one more. We were about to leave, but I said, no, the wind died enough. Let's go ahead and try this last flight. Try to get this flight. We're going to do takeoff flaps this time.
Flaps up. Gear up.
Man, what a sweet flying little jet. She is.
30 seconds.
Feels so locked in.
Gear down. Landing flaps. 20 seconds.
It's like, all right, birds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am so glad I decided to go ahead and take a chance at flyer. Absolutely phenomenal flying little jet. She doesn't need a gyro. Oh, she can fly a lot more stable and everything with one for sure, but that just shows you how well she'll fly without one.
Prop secured.
Before I took her out, a couple of things on the plane I'm not crazy about. Number one, thank you Hobby Zone for sending this out to me for review. But as my agreement is with you, and that's what you insist upon, you want the positive and the negative. Here's a negative. The keel of this Avanti, when you come down here, the keel of this Avanti is just bare foam. I mean, it's painted, but it's just foam. So I took 2, maybe 3 pieces of that Gorilla packing tape and just layered it right over that, because when you set this plane down on the ground without a battery in it, she sits on the tail. Not to mention when you go to take off sometimes or you bounce, that tail is going to keep hitting. So that should have a plastic doubler. But understand, this is a little bit older of a plane. It's been out for a while. Let's see how much juice I have in the tank, and then I'll show you where I've put the battery at. I still got 53%. I could have flown for another minute and a half. All right. Now, there is where I've got the 4,000 Sokokin. I've got as far back as I can get it, and she seems to CG just fine right there. Right there, I don't know if you probably won't be able to see it, but right there is the Lemon RX Gen 2 7-channel receiver, and it doesn't have stability. It's just a 7-channel, good strong signal. I trust these receivers. I even put one in my expensive B25. They're 7-channel with stability, and with a stabilizer. It doesn't have self-level, but stable. This does not have anything. It's just straight receiver. These Gen 2s are locked in. I'll put them up against the Spectrum receiver any day of the week. And but yeah, that's where I've got it. Let me show you. CG on this plane is 100 and, well, I believe, if I remember right, it's 105 to 100, I think, from the leading edge root back. So you see these plastic doublers right about 1 inch behind them plastic doublers there. And I know the gear is down, but she seems to CG real good there. Put them gear up. Gear go up and down pretty fast, so that's good. But she seems to CG pretty good right there. I'm pretty happy with that. Wind is messing with her. You got a landing light there. You got your nav lights on either end of the wingtips, and they're plenty bright. I hope you could have seen them on the video, but when I had her out there making this last leg to come in to land, I could really see that landing light there. Helps me with my orientation. Tricycle gear, so she's great ground handling. She's just a good looking bird. I mean, the original Avanti from FMS had a clear canopy with a pilot when I think it was a purple plane. I kind of like this blacked out one. And there, a little glamour shot for the thumbnail. Just a good looking bird. I really enjoy the bird. I enjoy the way it flies. This is technically the second time I've ever flown it, but that first flight was landing and takeoff, and that was it because it was just so windy. And I said, well, if it got better, and we were able to continue that flight. So this is a continuation of the very first flight. So this is still the maiden. First time I've had her out here to fly her. So thank you for watching, folks. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Hobbywing for sending this plane out to me for review. I really like it. I'm very pleased with it. Like I said, I wish it had plastic underneath that keel to protect it. I wish it was bigger, but at this size, it fits well in the back seat. You shouldn't have to disassemble it. It goes together super simple, all screwed in assembly. The only thing you have to glue in are these I don't know what they're called, these fins, vanes or whatever. They help keep it locked in. Got plastic nose cones so you can stand in the corner, but also now this is hard foam, but you can also stand it in the corner on its, and the elevator isn't going to touch if it's standing perfectly still. So that's up to you on how you want to store your plane. Folks, thank you for watching. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, then jets. Bye.